Hey guys, Justin Rivas here. Just want to take a couple of minutes and show you the gear that I'm personally shooting with. I would say I have a little bit of a hodgepodge of equipment, but some of it simply because I'm not a professional, but I like having really good gear, so I've had to find kind of economical, resourceful ways to get some gear. And as I'm doing more and more photography and video for, you know, a portion of my income, I have started to upgrade my stuff. But I just want to talk a little bit about what I'm using, what's in my bag, and maybe it'll help you out. And as I talk through just kind of my purchasing decisions and why I've chosen what I've chosen. So to start off with, the bag. So I roll around with this guy. This is a Lowepro ProTactic AW 350. I was looking for something that would hold my 13-inch Retina MacBook as well as a bunch of cameras and lenses, and this is a pretty good option, actually really good. I really like this backpack. I just picked it up on Boxing Day here, but it holds all of my stuff, and it's got kind of different compartments here that make it easy to, you can get at your camera this way, you can get at your cameras through the sides and get at different things, and lots of options. I really like it, but I'll show you the layout here, which hopefully I can show you without all of the stuff dumping out of here. Let's unzip that and unzip that. All right, here we go. I'll try and hold this up so you can see it here. So it's got lots of different ways you can configure it to be different, and depending what I'm doing, I might swap out a flash for another body or an extra lens or some things. But generally when I'm going around, this is what I'm rolling with. I'll talk about these a little bit more individually, but I have my Nikon D800. It has Tokina 16-28 on it. This is Tamron 24-70 2.8, and then Nikon 80-200 2.8, and then I have a couple of these Yongnuo flashes, which actually work out pretty well. But I'll talk about these things a little bit more individually. So my primary body, I picked this up probably, I don't know, 6 to 9 months ago, is a Nikon D800. Why do I use this body? Well, I have been a Nikon shooter for a little while. I know Nikon, and I was in Don's Photo, and they had a used one of these on. I think I paid $1,500 Canadian for it. It only had like 25,000 shutter actuations on it, and was a really good steal. If you don't know the D800 well, it does a lot of megapixels, I think 36 megapixels. It's got really good dynamic range. It doesn't shoot super fast, so if you're a sports shooter, it's probably not the best for you, but I like doing architecture, and so I love having tons of those megapixels for doing tons and tons of detail, and it shoots really well in low light, so I really like that. I have battery grip on it, nice for portraits for doing it this way. I didn't spend $500 on the Nikon one. I found some off-brand in Amazon, and it's a little bit sketchy, but it works fine for snapping pictures. Just the wheels here don't work super well, but that's my primary body. I do have a second body, which is a Nikon D7000, which I'm mostly using for a second video body. I don't shoot a lot of pictures with it since I got this. This lens on here, right here, this is a Tokina 16-28 2.8. It goes really wide on a full frame. It is a full frame lens. This is a full frame camera. 16 millimeters is quite wide. Now you can get a little bit wider with the Nikon, which is 14-28, but that lens was a lot more money. And this one I think was only around $760, maybe $780, but I found it to be quite sharp. It's got good contrast. It works really well. Maybe the only thing is that you can't just screw on filters onto this with the design of it, but for the price, it is awesome. Really fast, wide lens. I use this combo right here a lot, and I really like it for taking pictures of pretty much everything, other than maybe people look a little bit funny. So unless you're doing artistic photos, yeah. Anyway, that's that. Talk about this lens. This is a Tamron 24-70 2.8. I just picked this up just at the end of December before year end. What I really like about this lens is that it has, I mean, they call it VC, but image stabilization. or vibration reduction is Nikon's term. But when you're hand holding for video, I really like being able to walk around with this thing, and it gives some super smooth shots, as well as you're able to shoot better in low light, especially being that the aperture is 2.8. It's a very, very fast lens. I'm really happy with this Tamron. The only thing is, and it's like really minor, but when you do this, it does extend and come back in. The Nikon version doesn't do that, but for the price, right around, I think $1,000, what did I pay, $1,100 or something like that. The Nikon version of this lens with image stabilization is about $2,800 in Canada. This is less than half the price, and I think it's every bit as good as that lens. And so I've been really happy with this. So again, I've got 16 to 28, and then this is 24 to 70. And then I have this. This is a Nikon 80 to 200 2.8D. This is a little bit, in a sense, of an older design of a lens. I think they've been making this one since like 86, and they haven't changed it a whole lot. This was my first ever pro lens, my first ever kind of solid 2.8 lens. It's hefty, but it shoots some really sharp images. The only thing about a lens like this is this lens does not have image stabilization like a much more expensive 70 to 200. I would love one of those. But right now I'm happy with this, and with my D800, because it can go up so high in ISO and still take nice images, I don't have a problem running really high shutter speeds, so I don't have to worry so much about that image stabilization. But this kind of covers the longer end of my zoom, so I've kind of pretty much got from 16 millimeters all the way to 200 covered at 2.8 aperture across the whole range, and I'm very happy with this lens. I could see in the not too distant future getting the 70 to 200 because of that image stabilization. Not maybe so much for taking photos, but probably more so for all my video projects that I've been doing. Having that image stabilization would make a big difference. Only other things, as I mentioned, I have a D7000 body. That's what's recording right now, and on it I have a 50 millimeter 1.4D Nikon lens, and that's a solid lens, especially for the money. That one I picked up from Best Buy for $250 open box Canadian. So I mean, that's pretty good. I think it's normally a little bit over $400. Maybe I should mention about this lens is I did buy this one used. When you're in better glass, they're built like tanks. So if they work and you take care of them, chances are they're not going to break. I don't know that I would say the same thing about cheap plastic lenses, but hefty things like this, I'm not afraid to buy used equipment. I will say that much. Last thing that I will mention is these Yongnuo Speedlites. These are about $60 to $90 Canadian, depending which model you buy. I started off with a YN562. And that is actually up there. You probably can't see it. But with those ones, you do need little triggers to trigger them from the camera. I mean, you can use your flash, but this is much more reliable. With the YN563, it has that built in. So what's nice is I'm able to throw this on the top of my camera, trigger both my flashes. And honestly, they work. They totally work. They put out lots of light, lots of power. I don't think they're as well built as the comparable Nikon or Canon versions, but you can buy 3 or 4, maybe 5 of them for the same price as some of the more expensive ones. So I'm really happy with those. Other than that, I make sure to buy good memory cards because I don't want my images, I don't know, being wrecked or the memory cards failing. But I guess that's an overview of what's in my bag. Thanks for tuning in. See you later.